Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about array. Array are used to store multiple value in a single variable instead of declaring separate variable for each value. Array can be any number of value. Length of the array is set when the array is declared. Size is fixed once the array is declared. Every value is called an element. Each element is accessed by an index. Index must be an integer, and index always start at 0. Array may contain any data type such as primitive, predefined object, or program-defined object. There are three parts to declaring an array. First is data type, second variable name, and the last one is the array size. An array declaration can be done in two or one line. Both examples below are equivalent array declaration. The first example is to declare an array using two lines of code. And the second example is to declare an array using one line of code. Declaring an array example. A friend brings you a bouquet of 6 different flowers. You want to write a program to store each type of flower in the bouquet. The code segment below are identical way to declare an array of strings called myBouquet. The size is set to 6 elements, so it may store each type of flower in your bouquet. Data type store the types of flower as strings. Array name is myBouquet, and the size of the array is 6 elements, one for each flower. An alternative way to declare array is to place the bracket used to declare an array on either side of the array identifier. In the left side, you can see the syntax introduced, and on the right side, you can see the alternate syntax. Either declaration will work. The alternate syntax is similar to that used in the language of C. The syntax used to introduce array actually reads much clearer. The first line would read integer array prime number. Once you declare an array, you must initialize it to set the value for specified index. There are three components to initializing an array. First, variable name. Second, index. And the last one is value. An array can be initialized in two different ways. First, declare the array, then initialize each element. Second, have declaration and initialization occur in the same step. The first example is declaring and initializing your array in two steps, and the second example is declaring and initializing in one step. Initializing an array example 1. Recall the declaration of the string array myBouquet. Once the array is declared, the code below initialize the element and store the flower types. The index of an array begin at 0, so the first element will be added to index 0. The array of flower type will look like this. Initialize an array example 2. The array myBouquet could also be declared and initialized using the second notation as follows. Notice that using this method does not specify size, but it is assigned a size based on the number of elements in the list between the curly brackets. Consider taking in 5 numbers from a user and storing them in an array called myArray. You need to declare the array, then initialize the element one at a time as the user enters each number. The second notation may be an easier way to initialize the array if you already know the content of the array when declaring it. When arrays are declared but not yet initialized, the elements are given the default value associated with the data type. For example, the default for numeric data type such as integer is 0, and the default for object type such as string is null. When the array is declared, The representation in the table is as follows. Once you begin to initialize element, the array updated. The new representation in the table is as follows. Arrays are not restricted to storing primitive data type. They can store any object type, including types you define. For example, if a flower class exists, the flower could be stored in the array rather than storing the flower type as a string. Since we know that flower to include, the second notation can be used to initialize my bouquet of 6 flowers. With each declaration of an array, you must define a size or length of the array. The length is stored as an instance variable for that object and can be accessed using the array name.length notation. This technique is useful in the following example. First, establish an array with a size based on the user input. Second, enter a segment of code where the user's input is no longer in scope. Number three, you will need to access the instance variable length for that array. And the last one, insert array.length, return the length of array. The first line of code is the array declaration. It declares an array called altus with a size of 10. The for loop iterates through the index, and for each index in the array, the value at the index is set to 2. The output will be like this. In the flower example, iteration help if you wish to print out the flower type stored in the MyBouquet array. Use a for loop to iterate through this array. The initialize counter within the for loop can be used to incrementing through the index as shown below. What display as a result for this code? Java offers a for each loop, an alternative to using the initialize counter to iterate through an array. When used to access the element of an array, the for each loop works the same way as the for loop, but is implemented in a simple way. If we replace the for loop code from our previous example with the following code, we get the same result. The for each loop access and one at a time return all elements of an array. Changes to the array element cannot be made using a for each loop. If we replace the for loop code from our previous example with the following code, we get the same result. The example below will print the length of each string in the array MyBouquet. Both implementation of the code below will display the information about the array element.